Get us going here because here we are. It's December. It's the end of 2025. We kind of, all through 2024, we were talking about the impending year. And now, of course, we're on to talking about 2026. And we were just having some technical difficulties. So I apologize for those of you who have been sitting and waiting for me to figure out my machine here. And we just wanted to talk about our workshop that's coming up a little bit. So let's talk about it now. It's called Sacred Story 2026 Midwifing Your Year with Moon Magic. So we're going to focus on the moon in terms of our emotional guide, our energetic guide, sort of that wise feminine energy that's going to guide us through 2026, which promises to be a fast year, a furious year, an energizing year, a vital year, full of masculine energy, full of fire and air. So what does that mean? That means it'll be full of action. And so we want those actions to be inspired. It's going to be full of thinking and planning and strategizing. So a lot of mental energy and storytelling. It's going to be full of storytelling because humans are storytelling creatures. We live inside story. We tell each other stories. We communicate with story. We teach with story. And story is a part of who we are. And so Valen's going to talk a little bit tonight about how we're letting go of old pieces of our story. We are going to do a journey into Galactic Centre to kind of take a look at, meet up with maybe a piece of our story that we don't like or love very much, piece of ourselves. And in our workshop, Sacred Story 2026, we're going to provide ourselves with some very specific tools, including some sounding, some nervous system somatic actions, some mudras, some practices, some grounding, of course, lots of astrology that Velen will help us navigate with your own personal astrology so that you can see how the fire in the air is going to be impacting you specifically in 2026, where in your life it's going to be impacting you and how to deal with it. We're going to do some beautiful, fun things like create a sacred sigil that is going to carry through the symbolically carry through the energy of our 2026 year. So lots of fun in store. If you are an Inner Wisdom Circle member, which many of you are, watch your email for your special big discount coupon that Velen created for you for this, if you're interested in signing up. And we'll be talking about it a little bit more. And if you want to stay afterwards, we can answer questions. And that's that. So I'm going to hand it over to Velen. I'm going to put myself on mute here. And while we listen to Valen, if I could get everybody's implicit permission to do energy work with you tonight. That being said, if you don't want it, please just send me a message in the chat and say no thanks for whatever reason, if you're just not feeling up to it or whatever. All good. Otherwise, I'm going to see you on the other side.
Okay, I'm going to have to be watching that mute, unmute for the, hopefully it's not echoing now. Who knows what's going on? It's all good? Okay, great. So here's the channel message for this group this month. Greetings. You are preparing to expand your soul's journey in a way that allows for individual expression to be gifted to your world. Know that there are paths that will open that you do not foresee. And all that is becoming available to you is known to you through your own inner guidance. Trust that you sense which way to align yourself, for that is what you are doing at this time. So when you are ready to initiate your next steps, you will already know which direction you are heading. This means not only within your material world, but within your emotional and spiritual world as well. You are orienting yourself to your future path at this very time. Recognize that where you do not have clarity is only a mental construct, for your inner guidance and your soul guides are already showing you the way. Ask to be open to receive support, wisdom, and clarity. You are blessed, you are honored, you are loved.
As always, a beautiful message. They're a little more pointed, I find, these days, a little more action oriented than they have been in the past, getting us ready for 2026, obviously. And so, as we said, we're going to be doing some energy work this evening. And I think Valen was sharing with you how the format of these circles is going to change a little bit. We're going to move them to 6 o'clock. That's the first thing we're going to do. That'll make things, I think, a little bit easier for some folks who have given us feedback that 5:30 is a little bit of an early start for them. And we'll go until 6:45 with the free circle. And then with our Sacred Story cohort, we will have a special focused soul circle that will happen from 6:45 until 7:30 Eastern time to support you every month through your sacred story, through that story arc that you're going to be developing for yourself for 2026. So we did do 4 circles, focus circles last year. And honestly, we just found they weren't enough. And that this year coming up, what we really want is that cadence of support so that Valen can be there to answer your questions about your specific chart, and so that I can be there to recalibrate, to balance, to clear any pieces to help you with your intention, and so on and so forth. So we're going to continue with the free circles, the 45-minute circles, as we have been, because we love them and we love you. And with that, let's start. I love this slide so much. What you don't know is that the process of developing these slides, Valen and I do them together over time. I mean, she does them, but we do them together, and she sends them to me for a little bit of editing, or, for me to think about them or whatever. And so I get to see them in process. And I saw this slide long before I saw the image. And so it was only later, first of all, of course, I got the no going back, and I thought, oh, great, fantastic. And then it came with this image. So I just had to laugh, say that out loud. Okay, I'm going to let you go now, Valen.
Okay, I'm on. It's hard going back and forth with the sound thing. So here we are. We've been talking about, over the last, since the fall of 2024, we've been talking about the shift that we're going through, which is fully in place in 2026. It's fully activated. So at this point, at the very, very end of 2025, there is no going back. We're stepping into a future that we literally can only feel into at this point, because it hasn't been formed. And so it's an interesting point, and we've talked a lot about Saturn and Neptune being together in Pisces, and now they're going to be at the very, 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 very end of Pisces. And whenever planets get the end of a sign, there's this sense of urgency, there's this sense of cleaning up what needs to be cleaned up before moving into a new sign, that kind of idea. So Neptune is literally sitting at that point and switches over into Aries in January. So this month is the last month that we get to fully be immersed in these energies. So there's a part about that which is, I'm going to say, even challenging. We're between worlds right now. We're still in the world of ending and cleaning up loose ends and dreaming in what we want, but the new isn't formed yet. So it's this place to just recognize that if there's a slight feeling of discomfort, or even that anticipation that can't be fulfilled right now, that's what we're living. Excuse me. So just to give yourself the grace of knowing that. So part of that, because it's Piscean energy, we want to create a safe inner space so that we can drop into our quietness, drop into our stillness, to avoid being overwhelmed. Pisces has no boundaries. It can be oversensitive. There's lots of things that are going to be intensified because these planets are at the very end of Pisces. More intense energies. So to recognize what we need to do for ourselves, just to avoid that, not to say that we'll experience that, but it allows you to connect to self. It allows you to connect to spirit, to prevent that kind of overwhelm or confusion, or I don't know what the next steps are. We don't need to know that right now. So part of that is trusting the void. So surrendering, releasing old stories, old patterns that have been comfortable for us. and old dreams and illusions, that's Pisces, may actually fall away. We're literally bringing ourselves to the place where we are going to step into the new in some way in ourself. And this may literally not be material in the manifest world. This may be very much an inner process, but that is what's being asked of us right now. And so there's this sense as the planets Neptune and Saturn, Saturn's already direct, move direct. They've been retrograde, so there's been a lot of internal energy. They've moved direct. And once a planet moves direct, it's like, okay, let's move forward. Let's move forward. Now, Neptune's not moving fast. Saturn's not even really moving that fast. But you may already sense, oh, there's something new coming, anticipating what's coming, feeling a little more able to move forward, especially where you may have found that there is things blocking your way or there are delays. There's a sense, even if things haven't formed yet in a new way, there's a sense of, okay, I feel the moving forward. I personally feel a sense of anticipation and almost like, okay, I really want to get to that place, but it's not possible right now. I'm still sorting through things. So for us, our navigation system is our intuition. It's our dreams. It's our visions for ourselves. That's our navigation system. And knowing that, and all of you in the circle, because you've been with us for so long, you already know that this is how we can function. But when you ask for validation and really pay attention, set the intention to see the validation, it will help bring our dreams or into our guidance into focus, and we will begin to trust even more. And it's going to be invaluable when things speed up next year. We can rely on, we can fall back to, oh, you know what? I can trust that gut feeling. That actually makes sense. I know that works. So we've still got this time, and it's Pisces energy, which is about intuition and about dreaming and about trusting our connection to everything. That's something we can be doing right now to really connect and really follow that. So we are at a point where new paths are opening. This is a point of pure potential. So we want to really relish and protect this month, this time for ourselves. So even though it's a busy time and all the social things that are going on, all the external distractions, we want to make sure that we create that time to feel the potential, our potential, so that we can set our intentions, so that we can release what needs to be let go of. And once again, with the Piscean energy, it's not always easy to stay grounded. There can be confusion. There can be oversensitivity. So this is a time to really set our clear boundaries. Because we are like that picture, which I've seen forever, and I don't think I've ever used it. That that's us. Like, we can't go back. We're already leaning forward into the new. That's where we're at. Even if we can't see it in form in our world, that's what's happening right now. So we really want to open, and I love that position too. That's an open heart. If you think of yoga, leading with the heart, that beautiful sense of that kind of guidance in what we're leaning into. So I'll switch over.
I really love this idea that there's a level of surrender here. So one of the things that we've done that's a little bit different than what we have done in the past, our new format, and Valen actually had to remind me of this. It was really funny because I said to her, I woke up this morning having looked at, I'm often up early, so about 5 o'clock this morning, I was looking at the slides, which Valen sends me late at night. She's a late night person and I'm an early morning person. It's very efficient. We get our work done very efficiently because of that. So I was looking at the slides and I'm thinking to myself, gee, we should really focus on one or two of these points. We should really bring forward some of these points. So then earlier today, she says, so are you putting in the extra slides? And I'm like, what do you mean? I had forgotten that was what we had planned to do. But of course, here we are doing it. It was planned all along, which I love. So the point that Valen made about trusting the void and surrendering, releasing those old stories, here's your prompt. Just take a moment to place your hand on your heart, because we are working with this open-hearted energy. And I realize that I wore this necklace and it's going to make a lot of noise. So I'm going to bring my hand a little bit lower. But for women, we want to be in that high heart, right? Just below the collarbone. And really feeling into, you might want to close your eyes and just settle into your own body and breathe and really feel into, where have you tended to take the path of least resistance, or perhaps abandoned your deeper wants or needs or desires? It could be just one thing, one really obvious thing. It could be one really subtle thing, a small thing. It could be a big, huge, hairy thing, like your entire relationship or your history of relationships, or your entire relationship with your parents forever. Really feel into that, right? It might be just the way that you deal with a colleague or with your boss. It might be how you respond to your neighbor, right? Taking that path of least resistance, in a way saying yes when you want to say no. We were working with boundaries in Inner Wisdom Circle last night with the brilliant and talented Karen Mason. She's such a gift. And these are some of the pieces that came up for us. These ways in which we self-abandon. So just feeling into that for yourself. And if you would like to share one word that is just representative of where you're at with this in the chat, or send it to me personally, I am going to clear and rebalance you for this particular piece so that we can let it go. Boop.
So a little bit on the same theme, because Saturn and Neptune are involved. This month, we're going to get a chance to really examine our old beliefs. And the reason for that astrologically is because all the personal planets are going through Sagittarius, and they're going to be connecting in a challenging way to that Saturn and Neptune. That is, how are we manifesting our dreams? How are we connecting to our spiritual self with our compassion, our sensitivity, our imagination? So over the course of the whole month, this will be part of a theme. And Sagittarius is about freedom, exploration, expansion. It's looking for wisdom and optimism, can drop into judgment, doesn't really like limits. And so Sagittarius wants to know, give me the information, wants to expand, wants to act. It's a fire sign. And Pisces is water. It wants to dream. It wants to connect to our inner wisdom. It wants to be in the open possibilities of whatever. These two are going to be challenging each other. So over the course of the month, there may be this sense of, I need to know this. Oh, but I can't know it. I don't know what's going on. And this push and pull, all of it is bringing us to a place to what do we know? And how do we connect to the wisdom that we actually have? So there's pieces that are going to be coming up all month in different ways. And just to acknowledge that, and to know that whenever there's a challenge in a chart, that is our growing edge. So taking it out of the mind, I need to know that I need to feel it, I need to be able to think it out. Maybe we don't. Maybe we need to listen to our intuition. Maybe we need to trust that we can't know right now. And so Sagittarius is also about beliefs. So we're going to have this opportunity to examine our beliefs and around our actions, because Mars is going to be one of the planets. It's about action. About relationships, because Venus is going to be one of the triggering planets. That's about relationships and values. Mercury is going to be one of those planets that are going to be triggering, and that's about our ideas, our perceptions, how we see things. And the Sun is going to be one of those planets. That's a sense of who we are and who we are becoming. So this is a beautiful month to acknowledge, I'll use Venus as an example. Venus, if a person in your orbit somehow challenges you, a situation comes up where they say something that challenges you to think, wait a second, what do I believe? What is true? That's the kind of thing that can happen. So over the just to honor that and to recognize it and to recognize the gift of that we're calling in this opportunity to really examine, because what we're moving into is a new cycle that the old beliefs don't necessarily support who we are becoming now. We're moving into this new place. And Sagittarius can really be about judgments. So this is, as I was looking at this, and I didn't put self-judgment in here, but judgment of others, but judgment of ourselves and our expectations, our assumptions, all the pieces that we think, oh, this is how it should be, or this is how it's always been, this is how it should be. Very Sagittarius. We're getting this chance to actually shift that. And if we open through compassion and self-compassion and really connect to higher truths, we can examine where we hold those kind of judgments and let them go. So that's part of this learning curve that we are having an opportunity to work with this month. The other piece is about staying flexible, because both Sagittarius and Pisces are mutable, flexible, flowing signs. So there may be times where we're sort of feeling restless or impatient, or just, just that sense of I need to move. But if we stay in the actual flow of our inspiration, don't need to do anything with it, just to be open, just to be connected, and that can come through creativity. It can come through, any piece of your life, just to really be in that place where when you're in flow, you can open to other possibilities. And what's happening right now is through all the work we've done all through the whole year, and now we come to this place where it's like, okay, there's real closures happening. We are aligning to our soul's path. And in some ways, there's parts of ourselves that actually are being able to dissolve. Pisces and Neptune are dissolving. And so there's a place here where we can let go. And when I think about dissolving, I think how simple it is, how it's not a rending, it's not a tearing, we can let things go just by letting them go. So to recognize that's also what can happen for us over the course of this month, and to really trust our intuition where there's tension. Let that guide so that so Sagittarius wants freedom. That's true freedom, when we really trust our path, trust our inner voice. That's where we can have true freedom for everything that we're working with. So it's a beautiful time. And at the same time, I sort of feel like, okay, it's the end of 2025, and this month isn't really intense in big astrology, but it's like we're cleaning up bits and pieces. And this is part of what this is about. And actually, there's one other piece that I didn't put in. All of these planets connect to Uranus, which says, be your authentic self. So, and that's a bit of a challenging aspect as well. So we're really being called to really connect to our soul, our authentic way of being at this time.
Beautiful. Okay, so I just put in the message, the energy that came up for all of us, include myself in that, and you, Valen, is reconnecting to the truth of the statement, I am important. I am important. So it's that self-worth piece. So for this one, we're going to take a look at that aligning to your soul path piece and letting your old sense of self dissolve into more of who you are becoming. Letting your old self dissolve into more of who you are becoming. And for that, we're going to use a little visualization that one of our teachers that Valen and I used to spend time with, Frank Bach. He taught us conscious movement for many, many years. He brought us this visualization, and some of you who have been in yoga class with me many moons ago may have experienced this with me, but it's one that I really like to use for myself and that I find really, really effective. So I want you to just take a moment, maybe you can just close your eyes, put your hand on your heart for a moment, or your hand on your belly if that feels good, just kind of being present to yourself. And if you prefer to just kind of put your hands on your quads, on your thighs, and just kind of rub a little bit, bring yourself really into your body, be really present and grounded, and find your seat. And just take a moment here to visualize a glass of water. And that water is just maybe come out of your tap. And then you're going to take a cup of salt and you're going to pour it into the water. And of course, we know what happens. We sit there and we look at the glass and it's pretty much half full of salt, or even more than half full. And we certainly are not interested in drinking it because we know that it's going to be exceedingly salty. However, we're just going to take a moment to imagine that that salty water, that glass of salty water, is your old self, your old salty self. And we're going to take that old self and we're going to allow her to return to a larger sense of you. We're going to do this more in the journey a little bit in a few moments, but right now, just allow your salty self, your old self, to return to a larger sense of you. And doing that, we're going to take that glass of water and we're going to pour it into a bathtub full of water. And we can imagine, we know scientifically, that that salt is going to distribute itself amongst what would be many, many, many glasses of water. And then we're going to use our imagination, because that water is still quite salty. We're going to use our imagination, imagine that we could pick up that entire bathtub full of water and pour it into a pool, a swimming pool. And we know that that swimming pool might still be a little salty. And so we're going to take our imagination, use our imagination again, and we're going to take that swimming pool and pour it into a lake. And now that one small cup of salt, that saltiness, that old story, has completely dissolved, because if we wanted to take a sip of that lake water, and those of us who swam in lakes when we were kids drank a lot of lake water, whether or not we wanted to, just take a moment to imagine that if you tasted that lake water, the likelihood is you wouldn't taste any salt at all. And so it's that simple. It's really about ratio. It's really about taking that old self and putting less and less and less attention to her and allowing her to dissolve, not getting rid of her, not judging her, just allowing her to dissolve into the spaciousness of the new. So let's just take a moment when you're ready and just put into the chat any single quality that you noticed is present in your old sense of self that you're ready to dissolve in 2026. That new sacred story is going to help you dissolve some salty aspect of yourself, some piece of you that just isn't really working for you anymore, or that you let go of quite some time ago, and there just might be a few little bits and pieces left over. So just feel into that and throw a word into the chat when you're ready, and I'll help you clear and rebalance it.
So we don't usually talk about the moon cycles anymore, which we used to do all the time. But we've got a really interesting new moon that's coming up on December 19th. And part of the reason why it's so interesting, it's at the degree of the Galactic Centre. And the Galactic Centre is literally the center of our galaxy. And scientifically, it was thought to be a black hole. Now they're finding all sorts of different ideas about it. But astrologically, it's about the place where we connect to cosmic wisdom, higher wisdom, expanded consciousness, higher frequency. We have cosmic downloads. It's this expanded sense of who we are and how we connect to the cosmic wisdom. So as we remember from all the times we did moon circles, the new moon is the place where we get to plant a seed. And it feels really appropriate in this time at the end of 2025, as we're about to step into this whole new frequency that's going to be taking place in the next couple of months, to really intentionally set a seed around connecting to the higher frequencies, the new insights, and expanded perspective. And because this new moon is setting that up for us. So we're going to have, and Sagittarius, once again, is about wisdom, higher wisdom. So this is a beautiful time to literally set our intention. So if you want to do it on the new moon, it's on December 19th. And it will be exactly at the degree of the Galactic Centre. So already we're calling in that kind of cosmic guidance, expanded ideas, that kind of thing. Be open to that. But also set the intention that we want to connect with that. We want to be open to what is coming through cosmic wisdom. It can be wisdom that we literally don't see coming. Don't know where it's coming from. That's all right. We can just trust that we're being guided to the best cosmic guidance that is out there for us. The other piece about this is that for all of us to recognize that we are going through a time on many different levels and many different ways where our planet is literally being bombarded by higher frequencies. There's all sorts of stuff going on astronomically, but astrologically, these are the frequencies that we want to connect to. It's that sense of being in a higher frequency of love, of gratitude, of grace. And there is a shift that's happening right now, and we're all feeling it. Whether we understand that consciously or not, it is affecting all of us. And so it's really important, especially as we go through the next few months and move into this whole new energetic experience that we're going to be having, to find ways to ground ourselves. And so, of course, since you've been in circle with us many times, everyone has their own way to ground and find support so that we can start to practice really making sure that our nervous system is being grounded and calmed. And it's that sense right now when we're in between worlds that we don't want to get too disoriented. And it's interesting, as I'm saying that, and Sasha and I have laughed many times about not even knowing what day it is, and time's all weird, and it can be disorienting. That's how I'm experiencing it often. The other piece is that our intuitive guidance is really going to intensify at this time. And so to really connect purposely to the best of who we are, to really understand ourselves at a deeper level. This is all coming to us, and it's part of this, I said cosmic portal, this moment in this new moon this is being really accentuated. And there's another piece that any of you that's been following kind of what's been going on astronomically, there is something going through our solar system. It's called 3I Atlas, and it's maybe a comet, maybe no one really knows what it is. And that's a Saturn-Neptune thing where it's like we don't even really know what reality is, as we all have experienced in many ways. There's a lot of things we just simply don't know right now. However, we've got something going through, and if it's a comet, it's a very unusual comet, going through our solar system right now. And astrologically, anything that is in the sky is as above, so below, is part of our experience. So it'll be interesting, looking back on children who are born right now as the comet is getting closest, 3 Atlas is getting closest. Anyways, on December 19th, it will be the closest to Earth as it's going to be. So on the new moon, that's connected to the same degree as the Galactic Centre, 3I Atlas will be closest to the Earth. And any comet, whether this is a comet or not, we're not going to worry about that, but any comet astrologically has always been about revelation, awakening. It can be disruption because new ideas coming forth, messages, cosmic messages. And the one piece that I've got here is the transformational trigger. There's a place where all of this is happening at once. And I just find it so interesting. At the end of 2025, here we've got these objects that are going through our solar system that are asking us to expand our perception of who we are in the cosmos, how we see things. All of this is happening, regardless of what the object is. This is part of what's happening. And so there's truths that are coming to us beyond what we know, beyond what is familiar. So that'll be in our day-to-dayness and, in small ways, but it's also on this vast scope of something traveling through our solar system in a weird way that hasn't been seen before. So to use this, not only set intentions, but also to really stay open to the messages, the synchronicities, the insights that are coming to you, because the future is calling you forward. And we can hear it when we are quiet and calm and, I'll say, don't over analyze what's happening. Like when we just trust our inner voice, our inner guidance, and invite in the messages, whenever I do it, for our highest good, always in the light, but to really be open to it. So it's going to be really curious over the course of this month how this plays out as 3i Atlas gets closer and as that new moon, sets that seed for us right at the Galactic Centre. It'll be fascinating to follow this.
Okay, so one of the big pieces I'm noticing this evening, there's a lot of talk around things like visibility, enoughness, worthiness. That's very much sort of these old stories that are coming up to be cleared for all of us. We're all experiencing this. And so in the last slide that Valan was sharing, we want to focus on the point of how intuitive guidance is intensifying for us and how our inner knowing brings new and deeper self-understanding. So the prompt for you right now is to just take your hand and place it on your heart. And you don't need to unmute yourselves, but I do want you to say this prompt out loud to yourself. So I'm going to energetically receive it, and then I'm going to check in with each one of you to see if you're holding 100% for this. And if you're not, I'm going to rebalance you for it. So the prompt is, it is safe to allow myself to receive higher guidance. It is safe to allow myself to receive higher guidance. It is safe to allow myself to receive higher guidance. I'm going to pass us back to Bella.
So for this month, a key piece is that to recognize that we are entering unfamiliar territory and to really understand what we need to do to support ourselves through this time. And part of that, and we've talked about this a lot over the last year because of Pluto going into Aquarius and community, all that, is to really find what supports you and find the people that support you. I feel like because this is such a huge shift, to have someone in your life that can understand at kind of like the bigger intuitive level that everything is changing. Not only externally, we can see the chaos that's creating in the outer world, but internally, this is what's happening, and we're in this huge shift. And we're all, this has never happened in human history. So there's so much stuff that's happening and going to be really initiated next year, that to recognize that, to have that kind of support. So whatever you can create for yourself and know that there's some way that you can really feel supported in this. So that's going to be really important. And when we're feeling into the new cycle, this is a time, especially this month and into January, to really pay attention to what you're dreaming in, to create clear intentions, and I'm going to say to watch the negative self-talk, because that equally is sending out a message and the universe follows whatever you're saying. So we want to catch ourselves in those places and to really find what I used to do. I used to do this thing called pink bubble. And if a negative thought came into my head, I would immediately catch it, stop it, create a positive statement and send it off in a pink bubble. That was Shakti Goen's technique. Anyways, what it did for me was it stopped the negative talk, because I would immediately see it. I would create a bubble, send it off. But that's part of the intensity of the last bits of Pisces. We want to really be dreaming in what we want to dream in. And to really trust the inner guidance, because that's our compass. And that's what we're going to need next year when we're all in this energetic place where literally as a planet we haven't been in many ways ever, in some ways for thousands and thousands of years. We're in this beautiful threshold of something new. So the more that we can be receptive to our guidance, trust our guidance, know that that's what's going to guide us through. And there's a really interesting thing happening this month, and I won't go into a lot of astrological detail about it, but all the personal planets are out of bounds. And what that means is they want freedom to be what they need to be, but it can be unconventional. It can be more extreme. Emotions can be more. Creativity can flow in unconventional ways. Intuition can go beyond what's normal for us. To recognize that that's part of what we're experiencing. And once again, I feel like, okay, that's setting us up as well to experience something more, everything amplified in a way that we're not comfortable with. Once again, unfamiliar territory. So that's going on over the course of the whole month, on and off different planets, but just to know that that's part of what we're going to be feeling. And last summer, we had some of the new energies were in place, not exact, but in place enough that we would get to feel some insights, some inklings. So contemplate. Last summer, what little inkling or what little spark or what's something that was initiated, even if it's just in the vaguest of ways, because that's part of the guidance of where we're going. There's something was started last summer. Something was brought to our consciousness or even unconscious, a feeling. Anyways, an inkling of what the future is. So that might be just something to contemplate. So it's see what was initiated. And back to the surrender. This is what we're surrendering to what's unfolding, because it's the only way. We're moving into something that's so new, and everyone's going to navigate it in their own way. And if we can all have support that allows us to really stay attuned to our soul path, really pay attention to synchronicities, so that moving into next year when things become real, that we have that as our guidance. So all of this piece it's like this month, it feels like this month is getting us ready for this unfamiliar territory that we are going to be headlong in by February, but starting next month. So we get this beautiful time to practice and to support ourselves in this time of endings and the new beginnings that are coming.
Okay, well, that was fun. I'm just going to say that I'm going to put your messages in the chat for you, but I want you all to know that I have reinstalled and rebalanced. What I did was I tested each one of you individually, and then I put you into groups if you were holding for the same percentage. But I'm not going to give any of that away, personal information. I'm just going to say that I rebalanced for the energy of delight, the positive energy of delight. I rebalanced for the positive energy of wonder. And I'll write these notes to you so that you each know what was for you. I rebalanced for I am confident, for I am hopeful, and once again for I am grateful. So the positive energies of delight and wonder, the I am statements, I am confident, I am hopeful, and I am grateful. Okay. So now, if everybody would like to just settle in, we're going to move into our journey to Galactic Centre. And I'm going to encourage you to close your eyes if that feels safe. Please feel free to go off video if that's comfortable for you. You're never required to be on video. Our recording never shows your video anyway. And if you'd like to lie down, please do. And if you're seated, I'd like you to really find connection with your bottom and your chair. or your couch or your bed, wherever you are, and find some support for your back as well. Find some support for your back. And again, if you'd like to lie down, that's absolutely fine. So I'm going to ask you to close your eyes if that feels good to you, and to get comfortable in your seat, and to place one hand on your heart center. So again, for women, that's that high heart center just below the collarbone or clavicle. And one hand on your solar plexus, which is just below your breastbone. And that's the locus of your sense of I am. And now just bring your awareness to your breath. For now, just notice its sweet rhythm moving in and out of your body. Let the outside world dissolve as you allow yourself to be held in this loving circle. Now exhale fully and pause. And then gently invite in the next breath through the nose. And with your next out breath, feel the edges of your body soften. Let the rhythm of your inhale guide you inward. A little further, a little more. Know that you are safe here. Exhale a bit more deeply. And inhale even more fully. Fill yourself with oxygen, light, prana, the stream of livingness all around you, entering and moving through your body. Let the field around you become wide and wider still until your body is floating in a cradle of light, suspended in a vast cosmic sea. This is your invitation into Galactic Centre, the birthplace of stars, with the hum of cosmic intelligence at your fingertips and the pulse of your higher light consciousness. Rest here for a moment. Let yourself expand into this spaciousness. Sense the stillness here. It is full of knowing, full of frequency, full of memory. You have returned to your source point, to the part of you that always knows. Here in this sacred void space, we meet your higher source intelligence, the luminous version of you, the one who has insight into the part of you that struggles, that part of you that wobbles, second guessing your own first knowing. You may see this higher light intelligence being. You may feel her, or maybe only sense her. She arrives without judgment, without only this sweet, loving presence. Let her show you what she knows. As you continue to breathe in and out, notice how she approaches with acceptance, letting you know there is nothing to do and everything to allow. Notice where you're holding any tension in your body. Breathe into it. Soften, soften. There is no shame here, no need to fix, alter, or improve. Here there is only the truth. There is only love. This is the essence of what you are, even when you forget. Breathe and consider, what part of me is ready to soften, to be seen, to be loved, to be valued, just as I am. Breathe in the reply. Let the awareness rise without forcing. You may feel a wave of grief, of joy, of clarity. Trust what comes. Nothing's wrong. You are simply in a state of becoming. When you feel ready, extend out your hands, cup them, and allow yourself to receive a gift, a talisman, a sensation, a word. Allow this gift to anchor this knowing into your body so that even when you return to the noise of the world, you will remember this truth. You are filled with light. You are vast and ancient and sovereign. You are the daughter of stars. You are love made three-dimensional. Let that land. When you feel complete here, thank your higher soul self for supporting you today and begin to return to this place and time, to your room, your space. Gently wiggle your fingers and toes. Breathe into your body. Feel your feet. Give your heart a little love rub. And maybe say to yourself, I honor where I've been. I love who I am. I welcome who I'm becoming.